Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new series. This series is exclusively for the talking points or the overall talking points of this season or probably the recent eras, or the types of controversies we have had, and largely what has been the main concern regarding the football fans all over the world. So today I just thought, let's talk about the Balon d'Or scenario. The Balon d'Or scenario is just what you call it, less of a credible thing and more of a joke in my opinion, because it's been a downward slope for the Balon d'Or since the post-COVID era. The it in my opinion it really started with the cancellation of the Balon d'Or ceremony, in which there was one and only winner Robert Lewandowski. But we are not here to talk about who won that award. We are talking about the main thing, the last season's Ballon d'Or, where it was a infamous and notorious award in a bad sense, in my opinion, because Rodri won the award, but the majority didn't agree with it, except maybe the Man City fans or probably Barcelona fans. But if we just look at the history of the award, we can look at that used to be a prestigious award won by numerous great players, even the greatest Messi, Ronaldo. But from that post COVID era, it just turned into a little bit of nonsense regarding the decisions made by the FIFA and the UEFA authorities, and also the constant shifts in its criteria. And we also got a hint of that from the 2018 Ballon d'Or and probably 2019 Ballon d'Or, where in the 2018 Ballon d'Or, where Modric won in a very questionable manner, despite the Croatia's brilliant performance in the World Cup 2018 and reaching the final. But there was one and only clear winner. In my opinion, it was Ronaldo. But if we just set that aside and look at the history of the award, it was a very is like the epichelons of the awards a player can get in his individual career. And then if we talk about this season, it was mainly about either Vinicius Junior or Rodri. Rodri itself was a great player and irreplaceable in a sense that which is seen in this season. Man City has been a shadow of themselves since Rodri's ACL. But if we talk about the things that UEFA explicitly said in its criteria that wins this award, is that the UEFA Champions League and the overall season's performance. If we talk about that, then it's clear that Rodri didn't meet the criteria. But there is also a little criteria which says that a player should be encouraging sportsman spirit and fair play. And I think that's a very intangible thing and should not had been added in the criteria of a quantifiable award, because if you look at that, fair play is something which a player does voluntarily, is doesn't have to do with anything with an award. Because if a player like Vinicius, which easily shows reactions or maybe whines about a few things, but when it comes to becoming the main player for the team, winning matches, performing in big games, winning the best club competition, it's Vinicius. But if you if you say that fair play is about being calm on the field of play, not arguing with the referee, it can be any player. If you don't want Rodri, you can search for another player and he can do the same. He doesn't argue with the referees. He remains calm on the ball. He doesn't show aggressions towards referees or maybe even teammates, or probably the provoking opposition supporters. But if you look at the player that does all that and then uh, in the club man in the statistical way and doesn't do anything. If you see Rodri's season, it was all well and good. He was irreplaceable. But if you talk about the UEFA Champions League contributions, it was not a match to Vinicius. Vinicius performed versus Man City, where they knocked them out, and also against Bayern Munich, and also scored in the Champions League final. I mean, what more a player can do? So, if you say so, that if a little bit of contribution of that is fair play, and then more of a statistical manner, then the more things that Vinicius did last season meet that criteria, the statistical way of things. But if you just going to award somebody an award just because he is more fair and more sportsman spirited, that's just a disgrace to the award. Like Ronaldo said, it is becoming more and more less credible every year, because every year they present you with another set of criteria which clearly contradicts with the last season criteria. So if you go a little back, we we can easily see even in the Ballon d'Ors won by likes of Lionel Messi, not last season but a season before that, where Haaland practically won everything. He won the treble. He had the most goals in the European season, and practically uh, everything he did was the maximum player can do in a debut season or a single season. But what he got, not he didn't get the Ballon d'Or. Instead, Messi gets it for what? A mid-season tournament, a prestigious World Cup, which I say it's a huge achievement for a guy like Messi, but it shouldn't be a basis to not award a player who has won everything, and also scored for his country too. But Norway is not a great country as compared to Argentina. So this is a very is what you call it questionable things, that who makes this criteria, who alters this criteria almost every season, and the criteria of this uh, voting of this award is questionable in my opinion too. So if you look at the list of journalists, there are almost all the countries that are registered um, from the FIFA Federation, and all the journalists from each country votes players, and they get rating or points regarding to the ranking they get from that journalist. So if you say that if there is a clear angle of biasness in some awards, because if you look at not previous season but the Haaland's season, there was clearly that Messi is more favorable in the eyes of some journalists as compared to a new player or a what you call it a bust in the scene superstar Erling Haaland. So it can play a very crucial role in awarding the award and accumulation of points, because uh, I mean if you ask a journal fan who has watched this all season, he will not say that Messi should get the award. In my opinion, if you look at both teams, if you look at Man City, if you look at PSG didn't do well in the Champions League. They only did well in winning the Liga. They didn't even won their cup, domestic cup. So there is a lot of controversy, and it's just that it's a matter of time before it escalates, and more teams like Real Madrid start to boycott this, and we might not even consider winning a as big of an award as Ballon d'Or worth it anymore. So it's just a very sad thing to say, but what can be said is just that as a football fan, we hope that it doesn't affect any more seasons, and the FIFA and UEFA who have collaborated from starting of last season should review these reservations of the fans or football watchers in general, and should alter that sense of ambiguity or questionable criteria that maybe in view a lot of fan, not just to a player who has done well in a statistical manner, like Vinicius did last season. So let me know what you think of the Ballon d'Or and who should have won it in the last season, and you might also want to predict what will happen in this season's Ballon d'Or. So if you want to have more of this series, do let me know of any topics you want to have this type of discussion or analysis about. And I think that's about it.